My name is Fab Five Freddy. I'm a longtime cannabis advocate. The history of cannabis in America has long been tied to the history of music in America.
Louis Armstrong,
Bob Marley,
Cypress Hill, Snoop Dogg.
That's the sound I was looking for.
The era before me was on PCP, heroin. My mission was to get everybody hooked on chronic. You know what I'm saying?
As cannabis goes mainstream, it's easy to forget the past.
Marijuana, from its entry point into the U.S., has been associated with African Americans and Mexicans.
Marijuana, a Mexican weed smoked in cigarette form called reefers, a one-way ticket to the nut house.
This is where drugs becomes a proxy to race, because you could no longer legally write race into the law. You could write drugs into the law.
America's public enemy number one is drug abuse.
The dangers of marijuana.
Psychiatrists and sociologists knew that there was nothing wrong with weed.
Our decision makers chose to ignore the science. They chose propaganda. They chose racism.
There is something to the fact of we, the public, not pushing them to do the right thing. We have sat around too long.
Marijuana, pot, grass, whatever you want to call it, is probably the most dangerous drug in the United States. Dangerous drug, dangerous drug, dangerous drug.
We're not the war on drugs, we're fighting the war on drugs.
Hey, you guys. Do you think marijuana should be legal? Yes or no? Well, if you answer no, then I would say go fuck yourself. Because according to the people in the 10 states marijuana is legal, it says it's fucking great, and I can agree. Okay, so first, I will tell you the topic I chose and why. The topic I chose was legalizing marijuana, and the reason I chose this topic is because I feel like weed isn't a bad drug, and I just feel like too many people are being charged, which can mess up a lot of people's lives if convicted for possession or drug paraphernalia. I know once you receive 3 drug charges regarding weed, you can receive a felony. And once you become a felon, life becomes much harder than it already is. Some may argue weed is addictive and is as bad as other drugs. But if that was the case, the United States wouldn't have legalized recreational use in 10 states and medical use in 36 states. In my eyes, weed isn't bad, but in police officers' eyes, the drug is as bad as other drugs. Some may argue weed is helpful in so many ways. Doctors prescribe weed to patients with arthritis and cancer. Others might use weed to sleep, relieve stress, and focus when needed. Most jazz artists smoked and talked about marijuana in their songs, which I feel is pretty interesting. Personally, I feel like some individuals just don't use this drug appropriate and know when it is and when it isn't the right time to be under the influence. As some studies have proven, in some states weed is legalized, accidents and crime rate has increased 63% following legalization. One thing I found interesting was the revenue being made of this so-called bad drug in legal states and the amount of jobs available because of it. There were an estimated 122,814 legal full-time jobs in the United States, and they expect to produce 300,000 jobs by the end of the year of 2020. It's estimated that the current size of the marijuana market nationally is $45 billion per year, approximately 0.28% of gross domestic product, and comprising some 26 million pounds of weed consumed per year. In Washington, sales are now averaging over $2 million a day, with revenue possibly reaching $273 million per year. So in all, don't ever judge a book by its cover until you know its facts about it. Weed is great, so keep smoking, you guys.